Hello, everyone. I have a special report for you today. As you know, tensions are starting to rise in the U.S. and Antifa, the anti-fascist movement that's been going around for a long time now, but is really becoming more and more evident in the U.S. I mean, obviously, it's been very active in the past couple of years. We've been seeing protesting, and in France, they were calling them the black blocs, those that would come in, deliberately create violence, interfere with peaceful protesting. So we have, the game is being played out. Remember, this is all about the game for them. For us, it's our livelihood, it's our existence, it's whether or not we can support and take care of our families. It's, just the basic things that humans need. They have so much money that this is what they do. This is what they do with their money. They play games with us like we're just an object. And you can see right here, I mean, here's the corona. I mean, whoever put this together did an excellent job. This is the next move in the game. So, and that's how this starts. I just want everyone to see George Soros, ironically, the person that has inspired the Black Lives Matters incident, the police officer that had killed this gentleman by the name of George as well. And I wonder, it makes me wonder the coincidence of all these things. There's a lot of people that have died. Why in particular this person? And people of color. People of color have died as well. I'm not just talking about the police officers that have died and children that have died, but and you don't hear about any of that. You don't hear about store owners that are getting hurt and from all of this unnecessary violence, and pretty much telling people, giving them a pass that it's okay to go ahead and use this incident as an okay to loot. So anyhow, you're playing another game, and unfortunately, many people are listening and being puppeted to follow along of whatever is being said. What else to do to get people to open up their eyes? Of course, those that are listening to the show are well aware of what's going on. I thought I'd add this piece of footage here. Someone says Twitter will probably delete this, so this is a good way to save it. Here is an earlier version of Hillary Clinton. She doesn't look much like this anymore. So, but I want you to see the connection. I'm going to share this.
It is not enough for America's future that some participate and others don't. We have been given an extraordinary blessing, and at this moment in time, our country needs us. And we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts. So please join me in welcoming.
So, as she mentions, George Soros is fearless and willing to step up when it counts. So what does this mean? It means that he is there willing to do the bidding for all of these people that want to manipulate the public according to whatever their needs are. And obviously she feels that he's the go-to person if she wants to get something done. Here's what he has to say.
George Soros.
It is the first time that I feel that I need to stand up and do something really and become really engaged in the electoral process in this country.
It is not enough.
In this country, in the U.S., I believe that's where they're at. Doesn't really matter because he's doing it around the world. and very, very committed to it. So here is an interesting picture of that someone sent me. It looks like it's authentic, but who am I to say? I'm not an expert on altering or changing anything on with graphic art or altering any digital images. But this was out on social media. So the Soros Riot Dance Squad. It's an interesting name, and so that's what they're referring it to. There's other pictures too. So I'm going to go on to this picture right here. I found this to be very interesting. I'll enlarge this picture. This is meet Warren Wilhelm Jr. He worked for the Quixote Center, which strongly supported the Marxist-Leninist ruling government of Nicaragua, the Sandinista Liberation Front. Warren, better known as Bill de Blasio, is the current mayor of New York. So this name in particular made me think of the name that were related to the Nazis. There was Karl Wilhelm, and there was another. There was three brothers, and it makes me wonder the Nazi involvement in some of this. And so when we see Nazis, we particularly expect someone to look, very Caucasian looking or Germanic. But in South America, there's, quite a history of the Nazis fleeing to South America. And so, you do wonder what is actually happening here and what's the involvement. This is his daughter. Obviously, she's in a different, state of mind when I think she just got in trouble when she took this picture. Was arrested. So this is Bill de Blasio. So that's the real name, Bill de Blasio of Wilhelm. His daughter, Chiara de Blasio, arrested in a violent riot in Manhattan. And she lives at the Gracie Mansion with her parents. She was there when the cars were set on fire. I couldn't help when I started looking at her face, I started thinking about some other things. So I started to look up Kali because of the expression in her face. You'll see what I mean. It's pretty close to it, and I couldn't help but think that there's something going on here. Maybe I think we're still in the mode of Kali Yuga right now, but that really wouldn't be surprised. Remember, we're working in multidimensional experiences, so if someone's trying to make a comment, this is how they would do it. Kali's earlier appearance is that of a destroyer of evil forces. She is the most powerful form of Shakti. I'm not at all condoning what Chiara did in New York, but I am trying to understand what the other dimensional beings are saying and why someone that is making a similar expression to Kali would be showing up in our news. So there's a high regard for Kali. I mean, and to them, there's all different beings and they have a purpose. What I thought was interesting here is Kali is the feminine form of time and the fullness of time. I remember Peter was saying number 15, talking about number 15 being connected to time. So we might have something here. Is distinct from Kali, black, let's see, associated through popular etymology. And it is kind of the destroyer kind of energy that we see. But I know that some people feel this is benevolent. I have a hard time. I think it's more of a warning from her. And that's why some of this stuff is happening. Kali appears in the death of the Mahabharata. She's literally called the Dark Blue Night. Appears to the Pandava soldiers in dreams until finally she appears amidst the fighting during an attack by Drona's son, Ashwathama. Well, anyhow, there's a lot of different stories here regarding her and some of the things that she has done. And but I think this is a system that we want to shift out of, in my opinion. And so, like I said, there's more to this story. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I mean, this to me looks like war, battle, problems. Of course, this is Madame Blavatsky's Theosophy website. But here are the yugas. There's Kali Yuga, the Black Age, Age of Darkness, middle point, balance point, and then turning point, and then we go up into the Bronze Age, number 5, the Dvapara Yuga, and it goes up further. So we're kind of at this point where we're curving out of this experience, and so we want to continue to project the highest intention for humanity in this topic. And let's see. I have this other thing too that I thought was quite interesting. I don't know if we need the music, but I want to open this up a bit and for you to take a look. Right there. This man's awfully large and seems to be head and shoulders above everyone else. Yeah, there's people wondering when he was going to St. John's Church, who this guy was. Is this, we have a extraterrestrial friend or someone that's just incredibly large? I guess we'll find out. So I just wanted to share that part with you. And then I have this that I found, someone shared with me. This is called the Mass Deceptions Elite 1995 Game or Predicted Chaos. April 14, 2011. And they talk about the Illuminati. And so this is the New World Order game card. And this is what I'm talking about, is the game. So it starts off with rewriting history. This is the first card, card number 1. It's said to be on the market in 1982. These are no ordinary cards. This card game called the Illuminati exposes carefully laid out and very disturbing plan. Each card basically predicted all major events that has occurred or will occur. Coincidence? You be the judge. All right, so this card number 1. So taking the books, all our history, trying to rewrite it. This card depicts the school books thrown in the trash, represents a school system of what is to be taught. You notice a lot of the children are pulled out of the schools because of the virus. Perhaps to control people through false teachings, an evolution theory, or more recently the decision being made to include homosexual studies, a gay history in public schools, and there's probably a whole lot of other things that we're not really thinking about right now, but are there. Here is a terrorist nuke that looks like the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center building on fire from an explosion in the exact same spot where the plane crashed in 9/11. This was supposedly this was sold in the stores in 1995. How did Steve Jackson get the idea to create this? They refer to this as a ritualistic attack planned long before it occurred. Card number 3, the Pentagon. This card depicts the Pentagon on fire, which actually occurred in 9/11. Each corporate group directly controlled by the Pentagon lets you draw one extra plot card each turn. Here's a the card number 5, you know, this could be called the Bill Gates card. Goal population reduction. This card depicts a picture of New York City with black smoke over the entire city in the shape of a skull. I am assuming that this represents a plan to reduce population in some way or form. Pretty disturbing. Card reads, too many people making too many problems, not enough love to go around. Interesting, I wonder what is their solution. And this looks familiar, right? Card number 5, Center for Disease and Control. This card depicts scientists creating their deadly virus to infect the population. I also viewed a short documentary where government admitted to spreading the AIDS virus. Epidemic. Card number 6. This card depicts a pile of dead bodies, blackened from death, some medical paraphernalia such as gloves and a mask. The word quarantine is written over the picture. Another method of depopulation, perhaps. There are over 100 concentration camps in the USA. What are they for? The CDC predicts that the medium level of an epidemic could kill up to 207,000 Americans. Sounds like the COVID situation. All right, so the number 7, they just throw everything in. This is combined disasters. This is very disturbing card, considering that it had occurred in Japan recently. The card depicts people running in fear as huge building structures with clock collapses. This tower has extremely resemblances to the Tower of Tokyo's most famous retailer, Waco. It also resembles Big Ben in London. So double disaster, one for China. Many are predicting for London as well. Or one for Japan, it sounds like. I don't know why they said China here. Yeah, that's this thing with the clocks. And I just want to mention that the artwork that I was looking at with Peter in the last show, and I'm going to bring that up as well. Waco Tower in Tokyo, Japan. The clock on the card shows 1446, which is the same hour the earthquake occurred on 3/11, as indicated by the clock's hand, day of the earthquake. And the combined disaster was a tsunami with an earthquake. Now you may ask, how can they trigger natural events? I suggest clicking on the link, and we'll have this there for you to take a look at. And then bring up HARP and Haiti earthquakes and so forth. All right, so this is card number 8. Just when we thought that we should be finished with all of this stuff, there's another one, Kill for Peace. The card depicts 2 hippies, one holding a peace sign, which is, and then they said it's an upside down cross. The hippies are about to kill a police officer. Sound familiar? This represents the killing of any who refuse to comply to the plan for the New World Order. So who do you think we're working for when we're working for anyone that's contrary to a peaceful protest? Anyone working for Antifa is supporting the New World Order. They're helping, assisting, aiding, abetting, supporting the New World Order. The card reminds us of prophetic scripture verse in the Bible. Everyone's saying it's going to be biblical. And this is it's crazy. And then here is Thessalonians 5:3. This one right here, card number 9, tape run out. That was also in the artwork that I was talking about earlier from this, I believe is a Polish artist. This card depicts a reel-to-reel audio tape machine with the tape running out. Behind it is a picture of the world being split in half. Under the picture it's written, "When the rapture comes." It's almost like it fracks open. And I've seen people talk about this where things are just going to break open. A young girl told me about a dream and how she saw the earth break and that her family was separated from her. There are over 400 more cards, all displaying some satanic themes. So here we have timelines of events leading up to the last day when the Lord shall come. And so that they're bringing in all the Christian teachings, which I'll let people decide what they want to believe. I'm not going to promote any religion in particular. So anyhow, but this game is real, they said. Here's a bonus card, Earthquake Projector. The card reads, this device can act once per turn. It can increase the power of any attack to destroy a place or of any disaster card by 2. And that is what it is. All right, I'm going to get that other picture and I'll show you the reel-to-reel, and I was trying to figure out what that was. So I remember, as I was looking through these pictures and images with Peter, and we were discussing what could this be. It was a reel-to-reel tape, and it's run out. And here's the clock that's knocked over that Peter and I were also looking at. And so these kind of dead images of souls that are bodies or that are probably gone. And things like paper being peeled back. And here's the game. Here's the game underneath it. So I brought this picture in because it just feels like we're in a mirrored reality. We have good things coming in and also some bad things. And one example of that is, as all of these terrible things have been happening, Trump has declared Antifa as a terrorist organization, which I agree. He's also supported peaceful protesting and justice for George Floyd. He has signed an executive order to protect free speech and social media, and that was something that was rapidly being taken away from us regarding people just trying to share and help one another out regarding the COVID virus. And not even able to share any type of natural remedies or anything like that, and also declaring everything as disinformation, anything that they deemed as disinformation. Here is also, he declared the COVID vaccine will be a voluntary, not mandatory. And I mean, I don't have 100% validation on this, but this is what came up. He has defunded the WHO forever and wants an investigation into its operations. I mean, technically, they have been bullying the whole world into going along with some of their antics and trying to get everyone to pretty much drink Kool-Aid, take the vaccines, take the chip, and anything else that Bill Gates wants us to take. He canceled the Democrats' H.R. 6666 bill, known as the COVID-19 Trace Act. So they want to trace everybody. Canceled Bill Gates' project known as ID 2020. He opened up a complaint platform to report censorship on social media and YouTube. Signed executive order to reopen the states. And the states, just before the states are ready to reopen, they're trashing the nation. They're trashing it, putting bricks out there which have been traced back to Bill Gates, organization, a company that was associated with Bill Gates and Antifa. and encourage people that are low income, have other types of issues, and are feeling the need to take things that don't belong to them, which is an ethics issue, consciousness, lack thereof. Um, and so let's see, they declared places of worship essential services after citizens were fined at church. And so some of the states were operating and making decisions independently. And he said that, if people want to go and worship, to go ahead and do that. And he applauded Australia and 116 countries for assisting in the China probe into COVID-19 origin and corruption. So, collaborating and trying to figure out more of the origin. And some of the nations have been wanting to make China accountable financially for some of the damages that would cause to the different people and different nations. And as they're doing that, other problems amp up and create distractions and so forth. So we need to hold our intention, the highest intention for humanity. And let's step out of this mirrored reality, and let's move on into what is best for our nation, what is best for each one of our nations, what is best for our world, what is the highest intention for our timeline, to help assist those that are under programs that have lower consciousness, those that see this as opportunities, that are tempted by the money of Antifa and other types of feeling of that they belong to something and thinking that they're doing something for a just cause, like they show the hippies, the people, the liberals, the people that think, they want to see love and peace, and yet they're supporting the killing of killing of life, whether it's a police officer or someone else, for their cause, which seems very, very much unnatural and not at all what the hippie movement was about in the first place. The hippie movement was about equality, and they got off into other things, but began for a good cause, and mistreatments and so forth. And so things can change. Things can change. We are the change. We are the ones that make that decision. I want you to just think about all the different things that I brought to you. For some of you, I'm definitely preaching to the choir. To others, let's continue to support what's going on, and also let's use your energy to ask for the hindrances to anyone that tries to protest or riot in your neighborhoods, and protest in a negative way as far as the violence. But let's set an intention that people do stand up for what they want to. They're able to peacefully protest, but not to harm anything, and none of this graffiti and hate activity against innocent people, storefronts of hardworking people. And let's put a shield of protection around all those people, and all of our loved ones and everybody that around the world. Let's care for one another and not fall for the game. Let's stay away from this game of George Soros.